Whew. Good morning, everyone. I'm actually reading it because I'm like super nervous. So this, I titled this, The Mask of Religion versus the Heart of Covenant. Kind of, we've been talking about covenant at church the last few weeks. And then I'm in Walter's Wednesday night group where we're again talking about covenant on different levels in different ways. And so that's what I wanted to talk about, the difference between religion and covenant, because so many of us get caught up, us, including myself, get caught up in the religion of religion. So I want to talk about the difference between that religion and covenant. But before I begin, I do want to say that I'm not criticizing obedience because, again, I'm not criticizing structure. Those things are beautiful, they're necessary, and they definitely have a very solid place with God and His life for us. What I'm talking about, though, is the difference between a life driven by performance and a life rooted in relationship. Now, many of us learned how to behave for God, not necessarily how to walk with Him. I'm part of that. I learned how to do the right things. We learned how to, like I said, do the right things, how to look okay, and just keep going. No matter what, just keep going, put the mask on and go. Many of us were not taught what to do when we feel weak or ashamed, dry, disappointed, or just far away. And that's where the difference between religion and covenant becomes very real to us. Religion says, am I doing enough? And covenant says, am I staying close? Religion says, how do I make sure that God approves of me? And covenant says, how do I remain near to the one who loves me? And from Genesis to Mount Sinai, to the prophets, to Yeshua, we've seen one consistent truth, and that's God has always wanted relationship first. When I say religion here, I'm talking about performance mindset. The mindset that says, if I do enough, God will approve of me. If I mess up, I probably better fix myself before I go pray about it. If I'm struggling, I probably better get myself pulled together before I go into His presence. And that mindset creates exhaustion. I can say this, I've been living through it for the last, 8 or 9 months, as many of you know. Religion says, fix yourself. Pardon, I need to drink. Okay. Religion says, fix yourself and then come to me. But God says, no, you come to me and I'll transform you. Yes. Religion says, clean yourself up so that you can be accepted. And God says, come, I want to transform you. And religion says, clean yourself up so you can be accepted. I skipped through, sorry. God says, come near because you're mine and I want to make you clean. Because if we believe that we must be fully restored before we come to God, we're going to stay stuck right there. If we understand covenant, though, we know where to run to, even in our weakness. Not away from Him, but to Him. Not to hiding, not to pretending, not to self-punishment, and not to performance, but to our Father. When God redeemed Israel from Egypt, He redeemed them first, and then He gave instructions. And that order matters. He didn't say, obey perfectly, and then I'll deliver you. And I'm not talking about the blood on the doorpost. That's a separate obey. But He delivered them first. He brought them out. They were still pretty sinful when He brought them out of Egypt. I mean, they were scared and wanted to go back. So they definitely weren't perfect about it. But He brought them out first. He covered them first. He called them His people first. And then out in the wilderness, He taught them how to live as a people that belonged to Him. And that means that obedience was never meant to be the price of relationship. Obedience was meant to be the fruit of the relationship.
Yes.
And we see that pattern all through Scripture. We see it that God initiates, God calls, God rescues, God draws near, and then he teaches us how to walk with him. We can't walk with him until we're near to him and take that step. That's what covenant relationship is. In Jeremiah 31, God promises a new covenant. He says he'll write his Torah on their hearts. He doesn't say, I'm done with my ways. He says, I'm going to internalize my ways. He doesn't say relationship means no transformation. Covenant actually transforms your heart. It circumcises your heart. And then the life, the new life in you begins to follow. When I think about covenant relationship, I think about Doresia's 50th anniversary that we just had. A few weeks ago, we celebrated that. When we honor 50 years of marriage, we're not applauding perfection. We're honoring that perseverance. We're honoring the staying when it's not always easy. In Jewish tradition, a ketubah is a written covenant, a declaration of commitment. Marriage isn't sustained by performance, it's sustained by covenant. And then Yeshua lifts the cup and says, this is the new covenant. Doresia, when you signed that new ketubah a few weeks ago, did you cancel out the last 50 years of your life and just start over again? You didn't cancel it? It still was there, and that original commitment was still in place. Okay, just checking. So, no, what you did was you took it to a deeper level of commitment. like the Salgados, Yeshua wasn't starting over. He was deepening the story. He was fulfilling and then deepening what God had always intended for us. The access, the closeness, transformation from the inside out. God's always been our faithful covenant partner. Even when his people wandered, guilty, he remained faithful. Even when they forgot, guilty, he remembers. And even when they pull away, again, guilty, he calls them back. Taking a look at Mary and Martha, that's important because many of us, especially women who carry strong responsibilities in whatever area of life, whether it's job, home, family. Right now, you guys know personally, I've been carrying a lot of responsibility in my immediate family with Paul being disabled. And so I can definitely relate. But those women can really relate to Martha. She was serving. She was working. She was caring. She was doing what needed to get done. And to be honest, those things matter. There's meals to make. There's people to care for. There's homes to manage. There's ministry details to take care of. Martha wasn't wrong because she was serving. But at some point, her serving became anxiety. Her responsibility became frustration. And her work actually became resentment, even for the Lord. She comes to Yeshua with a question that many of us have probably had in our own hearts. Lord, don't you care? I'm doing all this. Don't you care? And when we sit with that, how many times have we served so hard in any of those areas that we start to feel unseen, uncared for? How many times have we done those good things, but with a burdened heart? It says, what the heck am I bothering doing this for? Martha's issue wasn't with the activity itself. It was that her activity pulled her out of rest and into agitation. Mary, on the other hand, just sat at Yeshua's feet and listened. Mary chose presence. She chose closeness. She chose the one thing needed. And this isn't a message that says, never serve. We all know that serving is necessary. It says that I'm saying not to let service replace intimacy with God. Because religion makes us sometimes believe that being busy for God is the same as being close to God. And I assure you, from personal experience, it is not. It puts you in that agitation state, and that's never good, never good. Sometimes we are doing many things around him while our hearts are no longer resting with him. And Mary and Martha is not just a personality story, it's a heart posture story. Martha shows us what happens when responsibility becomes pressure. But Mary shows us what covenant looks like, remaining near, receiving first, and listening first. From that place, service then becomes worship instead of striving. And the same outward action can come from two very different hearts. Two women can both serve. Two women can both pray. And two women can both show up faithfully. But one may be driven by fear and anxiety, and the other one by love and peace. One may be trying to prove that she belongs, and the other one's serving because she knows that she belongs. She knows who her Father is. She knows who her Lord is. The other difference between the mask of religion, there is the difference between the mask of religion and the heart of covenant. And I say mask intentionally because religion can teach us how to look right while our hearts are absolutely exhausted. But we put on that face. It's like arguing with your husband on the way to church, and then pull into the parking lot. And we unlock the doors and climb out, and we're instantly happy and loving and the best married people around. We've never done that, but other people might have. Oh my goodness. So I lost my place. Yeah. Wearing that mask of I'm fine while my heart is tired or in a bad place. Because God's not just looking for women who can produce. He's looking for women who will stay near to him. Covenant invites us to come as we are and be transformed in and by the presence of God. Not excused, not indulged, but transformed. Covenant's not permissiveness, it's intimacy that produces the transformation. And God doesn't say, stay broken and call it holiness. He says, come to me and I will heal, cleanse, strengthen, and teach you how to walk. It means when we struggle, we lean in, not out. And when we fail, we come back quickly. When we are convicted, we don't collapse in shame. We respond with repentance and then return back to God. When we feel dry, we don't fake spirituality. We bring him our dry place and let him water it and fill us back up. And when we're overwhelmed, we don't sit there and perform strength. We ask for help. Religion says, I failed. I just need to back up out of this. And covenant says, I failed. I need to step closer. I need to lean back in. Religion says, hide until you feel worthy. And covenant says, come boldly and receive my mercy. Religion often produces fear-based obedience, where covenant produces love-rooted obedience. When Adam and Eve sinned in the garden, what did they do? They hid. The impulse is ancient, and we still do it. We hide emotionally. We hide spiritually. We hide behind our busyness. We hide behind a woman's favorite. I'm fine. We hide behind ministry. But covenant calls us out of hiding. God still asks, where are you? Not because he lacks information. He knows where we are. We can't hide that good. But because he's inviting relationship. He's inviting us back into his light. And in covenant, conviction is not rejection. Conviction is an invitation. It's the kindness of our God saying, come back, come closer, don't stay out there. Get out of the storm and come into my peace. So if you felt distant, dry, ashamed, tired, or stuck, the answer is not more religious performance. The answer is not pretending harder, and it's not waiting until you feel worthy. The answer is just to return quickly and honestly and stay there. God hasn't been looking for perfect women. He's been looking for the women who will walk with him, the women who will stay close, the women who will come back quickly, and the women who let obedience flow from love instead of fear. Our Messiah didn't come to create better performers. He came to bring daughters into covenant intimacy. He came to open the access, and he came to draw us near. And he came so that what God has always desired, dwelling with his people, would become a lived reality in us. And covenant always begins the same way. Come closer and stay. Not come closer once you fix everything. Not come closer once you stop struggling. And not come closer once you feel like you're spiritual enough. Just come closer and stay. Thank you.
Where else did he go when we mess up?
Thank you. There you go.
I think it's off. I don't know.
Sorry, Daddy.